Friends, we're going to go on a journey on the dangers of a routine lifestyle. I wanted to create this dialogue about the dangers of living a comfortable routine lifestyle and how it could be masking some pain, some emotional, physical, or even mental pain. And this feeling is subtle. I mean, we could be living a perfectly content life but still be drawn to the title and the contents of this video. And after all, we are creatures of habit. We all have our routines. However, even in our comfort of these routines, why does it always feel like there's something missing? You might be feeling almost like a shell, hard on the outside but hollow on the inside. The truth is, I believe we're all very ambitious creatures. I believe you are very ambitious. I don't believe that there hasn't been one moment in your life where you haven't subscribed to the idea of doing something very big, changing the world in a very drastic way, or becoming the best at something, like the best athlete or musician. It is no mystery that we have partly contemporary society to blame for our fading aspirations, but also ourselves by choosing to opt into the corporate machine that keeps our culture running. I mean, there are a lot of advantages of having a routine job, namely security, comfort, and the prospect of learning a lot in the particular vein of whatever industry we choose to work in. For example, you could work in recruitment and you would have gained a lot of information about what skills or attributes are valuable in certain positions, and you might be more able to easily determine whether someone is a natural leader or someone is more suited to following instruction. Or you could learn about how much percentage will constitute your annual salary. No disrespect to anyone who works or has worked in the machines of the corporate world. I still have a 9-to-5 job. However, if you are still watching this video, you resonate with a lot of what I'm saying because you have that, again, subtle feeling of monotony and boredom or stagnation in your occupation. If you do feel that way, only this will break you free of your routinely shackles. Firstly, this feeling of boredom or longing for something different is a form of suffering. It is easy to understand in the context of masked pain or suppression, and this ties back into our ambition in our youth. The feeling is in the screams of our inner child who dreamed of accomplishing something more. I'm talking back to those aspirations of being a great athlete or musician. But after 10, 20 years, it has grown numb, it has faded. However, some of us will still feel its pull, its plans after work, the time off, the constant visualizing ahead of those free moments, the alternate scenarios we play out in our heads, in our imagination. We only manage to get this far in our occupation through treating the symptoms of pain with short-term relief, living for the weekend, video games after work, drinking any other forms of short-term sensory stimulations or gratifications. This is a natural reaction to chronic pain. We would rather suppress it than get to the root of the issues and rip it out. When pain gets chronic, we adapt to it. We get used to it, it dulls. You see, the same thing happens in serious injuries. That's why I'm using this analogy. It is called a compensation pattern. And you might be living a compensation pattern right now. If you're watching this, you might sprain your ankle and develop an abnormal gait pattern. The way you walk changes. You might get a limp. Because when you're walking on the foot, you feel pressure on the injured foot. And therefore you adapt. You walk in a different manner. This happens in the same way when we may take a vein of work or occupation that doesn't conform to our inner divinity. In the same way, we can create compensation patterns in our life when we're in pain. Excuses are a great example of this. Like, I have no time to exercise. I'm too tired to write. I'm too cue any other kind of excuse you may use in this scenario not to pursue the things you want. I just don't have the time is always a typical one. There's no time in the day. Remember, there's always a million reasons not to do something. However, if you're still with me, perhaps you are starting to root around and get to the core of your issues. Perhaps you're realizing that your routine life is a compensation pattern for the pain you're feeling of not living a more full, holistic life. And trust me, your listening skills will pay dividends, because if you're becoming more conscious of these feelings, you have reached a pivotal point in your liberation. And this coincides with vision. So being ambitious doesn't mean you need to set specific goals and achieve them. I'm not pressing on you to think about getting a certain amount of money in your bank account. I'm pressuring you to think even bigger than that. I want you to take time to look back at the vision and ambition of that divine child in you. The big dreamer who thought of nothing else but being a world beater. That child had so, and still has so much energy in you and is pounding against your ribcage to be set loose. That child is present in your crazy imagination of, fuck it, let me just quit my job and start my own business. Of dropping everything and changing career paths quite drastically. It is present in our mental health when we get depressed from suppressing and not supporting those ideas. Remember again the concept of the compensation pattern. You've been walking with that limp for so long, your body is crying out for its correction. Until we stop treating the symptoms of our pain and start listening to ourselves, our efforts will only be counterproductive, because we will only continue to commit obscuring that pain and obscuring that limp even more. If you are feeling what I am feeling, then you resonate with this, meditation is going to be an invaluable tool for you. We take in so much information every single day. Even you're listening to me right now, you're taking in information, you're being bombarded with it. New ideas. I'm merely suggesting the time to listen to your own ideas. Spend 10 minutes before bed and listen, and you will hear that inner divinity speaking to you. Stop taking information, turn this video off, listen to you, and if you subscribe to that, then maybe you want to subscribe to me. See you next time.